Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Daryl Amy.
Hiring salespeople based on a resume or a great interview is like drafting players based on their Instagram highlights. They look amazing in the clips. That's until the real game starts.
Exactly. Every CEO's been there. The interviews go great. You think you're bringing a top performer onto your team, but once they hit the field, they can't close, won't prospect, and blame the leads.
That's exactly why we recommend Sales Index Unlimited Candidate Assessments. It's your sales recruiting engine that screens every candidate against 21 proven sales competencies, benchmarked against 2.5 million sales professionals worldwide. That is more than a personality profile. You'll know with confidence who can sell and who will actually do the work.
Because the best teams don't just fill positions, they build a bench. They're always scouting for great players who can perform under pressure.
For just $2.99 a month, you can build your own bench of ready-to-sell talent, coachable, driven, and proven before they ever get the jersey.
So stop guessing, start scouting like a pro.
Go to unlimited.salesindex.ai. That's unlimited.salesindex.ai and start building your next sales all-star team today. Welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Daryl Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Hey, great seeing you. We got all kinds of things going on. You know what? We do so many great things here at Selling from the Heart. One of the things I really enjoy is podcasting, especially when we got great guests on, Daryl.
And an amazing audience. Hey, we're going to get to the heart of service today. Just wait till you meet our friend, Nick Glimsdahl. This is going to be an amazing conversation. And yes, Larry, the audience, the group of, it's not really an audience. I think it's more of a community of like-hearted sales professionals. And it's all over the world, all different industries. And if you're listening in, I just want to let you know you're not alone. You're not alone. There's a bunch of us. And there is a group of sales professionals that are saying, hey, I believe in being genuine. I believe in being authentic. I want to sell from the heart. We're glad you're here. And we are wholeheartedly committed to bringing you ideas you can put to work immediately. And today's no different. But this community is incredible, Larry.
Yeah, I just have to give a special shout out to a gentleman by the name of Michael Boxa. And he's a great sales leader. I wish him well on his new endeavor with his new team, but he's a follower of Selling from the Heart. I've enjoyed many, many, many great conversations with him. I just want to say, Michael, I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Hear, hear. Well, today's guest is someone who understands a truth that every sales professional needs to hear. How you serve is how you sell. Nick Glimsdahl is a leading voice in customer experience and digital transformation, helping organizations strengthen the connection between authentic service and revenue growth. As a director of contact center solutions at VDS and host of the Press One for Nick podcast, Nick brings sales, marketing, and customer experience expertise together to help companies create effortless, human-centered customer experiences. His book, get this title, The Heart of Service. This book shows why empathy, consistency, and connection are the real differentiators in today's customer journey, and why sales teams who embrace this outperform those who don't. He's here with us in the studio today. Nick, welcome to Selling from the Heart. It's awesome to have you here.
It's awesome to be here. I love your guys' energy, and I'm looking forward to get started.
It's going to be good. Thanks for hanging out with us, Nick.
It's always fun at Selling from the Heart. As we kick this off, Nick, the question everyone on the podcast answers is, what does Selling from the Heart mean to you?
Yeah, it's such an amazing question because I love how you guys start that off. From my perspective, I believe that too many sellers in the market just promise the best features. They promise the best functionality, the best price, the best service, right? It's the whole kitchen sink at the least amount of price. And the prospect sees it at face value. And so from my perspective, selling from the heart means being transparent. And that's transparency about price, about timelines, about expectations, about results. Everybody's got an ROI calculator, but what's the delivery of that? And then how are you delivering on the promises that you make? So, I think helping customers see around the corner what's happening, not just in the phase that you're at right now, but what's coming down the pipe in 2 or 3 phases as we're getting ready to make that decision. And I think when you do all of that, it makes that customer, that prospect really make better decisions. And I think that's selling from the heart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is good. And thanks for sharing. And I'm just a massive believer in this. And I sense the people watching this are as well. Our customers, clients, however you want to refer to them, prospects, future clients, they're pretty smart these days. They could see right through it. To use the word you used, they're pretty transparent. They could see right through what I call empty suit. So I'm glad you brought up this, helping them make decisions better, being transparent, being open. To be quite honest, there's nothing wrong with that, Nick. Zero.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think it feels good to just be transparent and tell the truth. And I think sometimes people just get so angst up to make a sale and hit that quota that they're holding back the things that maybe are not the best light for them, or they're saying, "Hey, we can get this implemented in 3 weeks," where really it should take 3 months. But they're waiting for that ink to dry so they can go and jump to that next problem. And the problem that I see with that, and I call it the go live gap, is really that gap from signature to go live, and then beyond that, that sales process is so focused on the ink, that they're not focused on that customer lifetime value to actually drive the promises that were supposed to be delivered and the outcomes that are supposed to be met.
I think that is so true. And what's so incredibly powerful about that is, if you read any marketing book, marketing is going to always say, hey, it's like exponentially easier to sell to someone who's already bought from you. The problem is if you fumble the ball on from the time you get that order until that thing is implemented, that is absolutely not true. If you fumble the ball on the experience from the time they say yes to the time they enjoy the benefit, you're never going to sell them anything again. So this is so critical for sales professionals to understand.
100% agree. Yeah, I feel like they are so focused and so nearsighted of the experience of that initial sale that if you do what's right the first time and you continue to find ways to let's say the release notes are coming out and you're saying, hey, you know what? I know one of the bigger issues you had was X. It's coming out in about 6 months. And then you actually follow up. You keep an eye on these release notes and then you follow up on them, and you might be able to make that additional sale. Or maybe it's a feature or functionality that your platform can't do. And maybe it's an integration to something else, and just being transparent with people and saying, you know what, like this isn't the right fit, or here's what that costs, or here's what you're going to be the trade-off between using this platform and ours is. And if you can show them what that transparency looks like on the platforms and feature and functionality, whether it benefits you or not, that builds a ton of trust. And then they'll continue to come back to you as a trusted advisor.
Hey, Nick, I'm just curious, where'd you pick up on all of this? Because, we've all been around the block a time or two, but something tells me that you've experienced both sides of this. And then finally you just said, okay, I got to bring what I believe is the right way to the forefront. So give us a whole backstory on all of this.
Yeah, honestly, when I first started selling, I thought that the more I spoke, the better I sounded, the more people would buy from me. And it just was not true, right? Like I was just fumbling and throwing out 10,000 words per 30 minutes. And they were just like, who is this guy? They don't know anything about me or what I've done or what my pain point is or what the outcome I'm hoping to achieve or, what does that front line look like? They don't know anything. And so honestly, it's just been through trial and error. I'm like, you know what do organizations actually care about? And there's been a ton of just listening throughout that process to saying what's working and what's not working. I think when you think of a professional athlete, they have the ability, even collegiate athletes now, we'll say we're in football season now, so go Bucks, but right now, you have the ability to look at the tape. And you can go through each session, you can go through practice, and you have specialty coaches that look back and say, hey, Nick, you could have ran that route better, or you could have done this differently, or you could have blocked this person. And I think going back as a sales rep and going back and looking at your tape, or doing the post-mortem, whether you won a sale or you didn't win a sale, and you realize what you could have done differently. There's always lessons learned of whether it was a victory or an opportunity. And so I think throughout this process that I've been on in the sales journey, I continue to reiterate my process to focus back to the consumer.
Mm. Well, hey, congratulations on the book, The Heart of Service. What an amazing, wonderful title, first of all. What's the heart behind the book? What do we find when we crack this thing open?
Yeah, it's such there was a lot of heart that it took, not just time wise, but when I was thinking through that process.
Hey, pop up that cover. Pop up that cover again.
Yeah, hold that cover up so the whole world.
I didn't mean it, but you got to look at that.
That's a good looking book right there. If you're not watching on YouTube, you got to tune in. Yeah. Of course, you're going to grab a copy of the book. It'll show up in your door in about 24 hours from Amazon. So links in the show notes. But yeah, what's the heart behind this book? It's beautiful. And it is right in line with everything that we love talking about around here.
Yeah. So Chloe Chen is the main character, and Chloe she's a leader, but she doesn't have that direct line of sight to the C-suite. She doesn't have a ton of influence, but she realizes that something's off. The technology, it's legacy. They're ripping through agents. They're ripping through customers. They can't keep them. They have a bunch of technology that's not communicating with each other. And she's like, there's got to be a better way. And funny enough, she goes to her dad's restaurant, and her dad's restaurant at the time, it's that Cheers model where they show up and the guy's like, hey, same thing from last Tuesday. You want the special, stuff on the side, like whatever that is. And they're like, yeah, I want that. And she's like, you know what? There's a lot that we can do to personalize and differentiate on the experience that maybe doesn't even need AI or doesn't even need a better experience. So let me focus on the frontline employees first. Let me focus on the team that's embedded in is the front door to the consumer. And immediately they were a little bit leery, and they're like, what does this lady want from me? She's never talked to me before. Like, what's in it for me? And she's like, you know what? I'm just here to listen. I'm here to hear you guys out and take a bunch of notes. I'm not trying to solve the biggest pain points that you have. And then ultimately she's building these business cases, and she ends up getting buy-in from the C-suite. There's the whole story there. And they give them a little bit of nibble to go through that process. And there's ups and downs, and there's vendor interviews, and some vendors are promising them other things that they necessarily can't do. And there's some naysayers on the front end that's saying, you know what, you're just trying to take my job using AI. And there's all sorts of snafus. And really, I've had people read this book and they're not even part of the contact center. They're not part of AI. And they're like, it's more of a change management book than it is anything. And so I'm actually going to recommend this to people that are in the operations side as well. So it was a journey, and I think it took about a year to write. And I think there's 22 chapters, and each chapter has the ability to communicate. Like let's say it's got questions. There's a summary at the end of every chapter, and then there's questions to grapple with. And then on some chapters, there's even a leadership lens. So if you think of the C-suite are trying to go through specific parts of that book, I want them to be able to have some takeaways or do some exercises so they can be better and have better outcomes.
I really like this. And, I'm sitting here listening to what you're saying, and I go, man, there's a journey. It's a roller coaster journey as a salesperson. I don't care what environment you're selling into. You got to deal with multiple personalities. You got to deal with multiple departments. And something tells me the book's going to cover this really well. But I think when it's all said and done, you got to get to the hearts and minds of all the different influencers and decision makers in there, regardless of what you're selling and so forth. And that's what I like about this is if you don't get to the hearts, I really think it's hard to truly build trust and connect at the rate that you need to.
Well, I would say the same is true internally. Like, in part of the book, she goes about building this team, and she's got to influence and persuade these people to join the team. And they're like, you know what? I'm not the right fit, or this isn't going to work. So why are you going to join me? And, I think in order to build trust internally, and I just had this conversation yesterday, I was like, you know what? There's the water cooler moments in life have gone now to the wayside. They haven't, we're in meetings, and sometimes they overlap each other, and you jump on a one-to-one and they'll be like, all right, so what did you accomplish this week? Are you in a red, green, or yellow light of meeting those expectations, instead of just being like, hey, how are things? Like, how are the kids? Like, tell me about, Joe's soccer game I know that was his first tournament since he broke his leg. How does that look like? And the more you understand who the human is, or what they're hoping to achieve, or even why they're there, like, what is their why? Like, I think the mission, vision, and value of the organization is great. But if you understand the mission, vision, and value of your individual peers that you work with, or the people that are below you, I think that has a different conversation and a different relationship that you get to bring in moving that forward in order to build trust. And you can now relate what they're hoping to achieve as an organization and bring that back to what they're hoping to achieve at the individual level.
What I think is so cool about the opportunity that we have as sales professionals, you can look at this and go, well, man, companies don't do this, and companies are blah, 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 and complain about all of that. But, as we're pointing the finger, we get the fingers pointing back at us saying, we have the opportunity as the face of the organization to really create and steer the customer experience. And I would go so far as to say, even if a sales-centric company has an amazing customer experience journey, map, plan, and all of that, if we don't show up as sales professionals, it can all go wrong. So we've got like this incredible opportunity, all of us listening in, to steer, influence, improve the customer experience. So I'm curious, from your seat, what would you say to sales professionals about the customer experience and about their ability to really, really make a difference in all this?
It's a really cool opportunity for salespeople is, in most cases, they are the first opportunity that an organization or a prospect gets to see, and they become the face of the organization that they're interested in working with. And so you're either going to land with that because of you're delivering on the expectation or the experience, or you're not. And you have to set the stage, and then moving forward, and you're hoping throughout the buyer's journey that they ended up doing business with you because you lay it out the right way and delivering on the outcomes. But then ultimately, you're going to have to pass that ball, and that ball is now in the lap of customer success, or is now in the lap of implementation, or is now in the lap of managed services, or whatever that looks like, right? For you, I think you have the opportunity to be that face, that first line of defense. And I think it's either going to go up or down from there. Hopefully that it just maintains and stays the same, because you just are crushing it and you're setting that platform. I think customers' expectations are always going to be a little bit leery. Like you guys mentioned prior, my wife's grandma always used to say, like, keep your baloney detector up, right? Like, and you have to do that in most cases. And I love it, right? But you should be focusing on which one am I going to be, not just a product or service that you're buying, but if you're going through an implementation, like which organization do I actually trust? Because there is so much noise. Like I said at the beginning, there's so much noise in the marketplace. The noise to ratio to actually value is greater than it's ever been. And I think that organizations, through that transparency and expectations and setting the stage, is where that baloney detector starts kind of removing the garbage, right? You're kind of sifting the wheat through the chaff on that process.
Well, I just had my Oscar Mayer moment, but but nevertheless, that was so bad. But I'm sitting there. That was
good.
Corny. But that was corny. But y'all get it. But this is. I'm glad we're going down this road, because in selling in a post-trust world, we just outlined the trust formula, and the third component of this is inspirational experience, and that's what you're really speaking to. Is salespeople, regardless of what happens afterwards, you control all of this. It's your ability to control all this. It's how you show up, not only to influence, but also to inspire. And I'm glad we're touching on this, because especially in the world of SDR and BDR, where a customer gets passed off to so many different hands, it's how you pass this off, and it's how you show up, and it's how you edify everybody else along the journey, I think is important.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that there, more often than not, though, that is a disjointed handoff, and they're just trying to achieve their ultimate goal. The consumer sees you as one organization. They do not see you as departments. And if the more that companies treated them like that, the better experience that they have.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what advice would you give to our sales professional friends listening in on the handoff? Like, what can we be doing other than being aware of it? Awareness is the first thing. But what can we do to make sure that handoff from the time the ink is drying on the agreement until they're fully realizing the benefits of whatever we sold to them? What can we do to make that effective, inspirational, and excellent instead of a just wet blanket?
Nobody wants the wet blanket experience.
No, but lots of people get it.
I think lots of people get it, even though it might be promised of the amazing experience. What I would say is take a ridiculous amount of notes on the front end of what was promised, the expectations, the timelines, and the like. Have another meeting with your internal team to say, hey guys, here is the expectations. Here's what they care about. Here's what's important. Here's what we promised. And so when you're coming to the stage and you're meeting them in that transition, it looks like you guys are a unified front because you communicated effectively. And then say, hey, customer service team, if you guys have any questions, yes, I may no longer get paid on this opportunity because I get paid on the 1 year of ACV. However, come back to me. I took a boatload of notes, and now you have the notes too. Look at the notes before you communicate with me. However, if you need additional support, I'm here for you, right? Like if you can actually focus on the customer lifetime value, that's going to drive the business forward, and that's going to keep that customer happy. If you don't, and it's just that transactional, reactive approach, it's going to be a different experience.
Hey, I'm sitting here just thinking about this word. I don't know if it applies, but I think it does somewhere in this conversation, is the word clarity. And it's just popping in my head for some reason that on the front end of this, we got to be crystal clear. We got to get clarity amongst everybody in the very beginning, so that when this thing gets passed off in all the different stages, everybody's crystal clear on expectations and what happens. And when I was sitting here listening to you say, take massive amounts of notes, for some reason, clarity popped into my head. I think it could be woven somewhere in here.
Well, for sure. The one thing that I would ask the customer success team is, what information do you need to be successful? And if you can, you can pass them 20, 30, 40 pages of notes, but if it's not the information that they want, then it's not going to be valuable. But if you ask them on the front end, if you're a brand new salesperson in a brand new department and you're now are transitioning in this opportunity into the customer success team, ask them what they care about, what's important to them, and what's going to make this transition successful. I think the consumers have expectations, the salespeople have expectations, but the customer success people have expectations too. And the more you listen to them and the more information you can provide with them on the front end of what they're expecting, the better experience everybody's going to have. And that brings clarity for everything.
For our friends who are sales leaders listening in, What advice would you give to sales leaders regarding this topic of the handoff and the importance of the customer experience?
Well, again, going back to the customer lifetime value, like if your goal is to not have them stay with you on that 1 year of renewal or commitment, you're going to treat them differently. You're going to treat them the way that you want to be treated. You're going to treat them the way that your spouse or friend that would want to be treated, and that's with care, with with purpose. It's doing it the right way. It's not promising something and then delivering the next. It's not giving them an implementation that's a minimum viable product when they're asking for the full boat, right? You just think of that expectation of what you're delivering and what you said you're going to deliver, and work backwards to your process. It doesn't have to be perfect. Somebody once told me, you don't have to be great. You just have to beat the DMV. And I think there's some truth in that, but I think you also have to, you have to go somewhere above the DMV. I think you don't have to be the Zappos, but you have to be between Zappos and the DMV.
That's a classic freaking line. That's the first time I heard that one, Nick.
I love it. I love it. Well, Nick, I'm curious as we wrap up, if you could say one thing to the sales professionals listening in about the importance of customer experience. I don't think we talk about this enough in sales. If you could say one thing to encourage sales professionals listening in, what would you say?
I would say care more than everybody else. And that might sound cheesy, but just invest in the time to don't waste your prospects' time, because you don't want them to waste yours. I would say that when it comes to the customer experience, they are expecting it's going to continue to evolve, and their patience for bad experiences, are not going to last. They will easily go to your competitor for, even if they have to pay more for a better experience. And so if you can deliver on a better experience, and they are with another competitor and they're having one bad experience or more, they're willing to go to the competition, and that includes you. And so what are you doing, taking the steps to deliver on the experience, not just on the first sale, but on the ongoing sales, to maximize the investment that they made?
Well, Nick, huge conversation, critical topic. Thank you for putting the book together. My question is the question that I know all of our guests are asking, or listeners are asking right now about you, our guest, is how can I get more Nick Glimsdahl in my life?
Yeah, the best way to do that is to just go to LinkedIn, type in Nick Glimsdahl. You'll have that in the show notes. And then if you want to get a copy of the book, Amazon's the best way to do that.
Wonderful.
That's so good.
Yeah, Nick, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us today. And thanks for all you're doing. We really appreciate you. Awesome. What a phenomenal conversation. I think we need to talk more about customer experience, specifically that moment from the time the ink dries until they're fully realizing the benefits that we talked about. And I think this is a big part of selling from the heart.
No, it's huge, because this is what just danced through my head right now, Daryl, is buyer's remorse. And this is why this is so important. You do all this wonderful work up front to get it to the point where they agree to agree.
That's right.
It's not wash our hand moment. I think that's where the light gets shined on. Now they're going, okay, please, right? These people are going, please don't let me down. Please don't let me down.
And these are the moments that we have to bring our heart to it. You can look at it, you can take the short-term vision and go, well, I've done my work. But the reality is the long-term vision of lifetime value of that client, as well as referrals and all these things. This is where the work begins. And so I think one of the things that I'm leaving today with is a fresh reminder that, It's like our friend Mark Hunter says, you don't close a sale, you open a relationship, and the work doesn't stop the moment you get ink. I know we got to keep moving forward. I know we've got to keep bringing new stuff into the pipeline. But the reality is we take care of the people to make sure they get what is promised, and they will take care of us.
Absolutely. If you take really good care of these people, they will take really good care of you. This is what's going to create what I call long-term sales sustainability.
That's right. Well, hey, thank you for joining us this week. We've got great guests coming up throughout the rest of this winter, spring, and on. And it's going to be a phenomenal year at Selling from the Heart. We're glad you're here with us. And to those of you who have been with us on this journey all this time, we just want to say we love you. I am so thankful for this community. And Larry, our commitment is every week to bring you interesting ideas that you can put to work immediately to improve not only yourself, your results, but also the lives of the people that you serve.
Absolutely. Our commitment, this was many years ago, is to have many rider downer moments.
That's right.
And so I think this was a rider downer moment.
Yeah, thank you. So grab a copy of The Heart of Service. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Pay attention to the customer experience, especially right after you get a deal. And most of all,
sell from the heart.